Welcome back to the Gem Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Grazel Moreno, aka Coach G. Today's episode is going to be a special one, okay? If you've ever felt like you're doing everything right, like you're working out, you're eating healthy, you're doing all the things, and the results still aren't matching your effort, then this one's for you. I'm going to start off by reading a message from one of my clients that genuinely brought me to tears. So here it goes. Girl, let me just tell you. I put on a bathing suit for the first time this year, and I could have cried happy tears at just how much of a difference I see in myself. I never thought that I'd be one to get emotional about my progress, but then it gets better. I put on a pair of jean shorts that I was busting out of last summer, and they fit so well. Like I did that. Just had to share how proud of myself I am right now. I would love to continue that positivity and keep that feeling of being able to conquer anything. Can we just give her a moment? Like just to celebrate that, because that is just so beautiful. And I think often people don't talk about those micro moments, like those pivotal moments when everything finally clicks and you get to a point where you're like, dang, I did that. Like, heck yeah, give yourself kudos. I don't think enough people are, seriously. Receiving these types of messages are just absolutely the best. And selfishly, it keeps me going, especially on my hard days, especially on days when I'm drowning in self-doubt, wondering if anything I'm doing even freaking matters. Like, you know what I mean? Is it even making a difference? Like, these wins that I receive, these messages I receive are just, they give me such a deep sense of fulfillment. Okay. As a coach, as a person, just in general, because this is what it's all about. Achieving something you've wanted for years, you worked for years, after thinking that your body is broken and thinking you have to settle for what it is. Cause like, you know, it is what it is. I guess I can't do anything about it. Like, hey, first of all, you don't have to settle. Okay. Her story is proof of that. You can make this happen too. Being able to witness like my client Cailla go through this transformation is so beautiful, especially because of what she went through to get here. And I'm going to share this with you because all you'll see on social media are like people with their highlights. You know what I mean? Like they got to their progress and oh my God, amazing. Like that's it. But I think the most beautiful part of what makes those highlights so impressive is where that person started and what they did to get there. Backstory. All right. So before Cailla and I started coaching together, she was dealing with a PCOS and pre-diabetic diagnosis. Okay. She had tried everything: fitness programs, working out, eating healthy, medication to manage her health, and even working with a nutritionist. And I wish I could tell you that all of that was enough. It wasn't. In fact, after working with a nutritionist, she developed disordered eating habits because she felt so freaking boxed in that she started to actually dread eating, like even going to the grocery store to grocery shop, because she wasn't even allowing herself to enjoy food anymore. Luckily though, I would say like she's incredibly self-aware. A lot of my clients, majority of my clients are very self-aware individuals, and she started working on reversing that. But she admitted to me that it had basically like turned into an effort mentality around nutrition, simply because like there's so many conflicting advice online and that it's overwhelming. We've all been there. Like we're quote unquote healthy path feels so restrictive that you just say like, you know what, forget it, like F it, and just go completely the opposite direction just to kind of get a sense of like control again. The good news is though, like over time, my client Cailla did learn that she could actually still enjoy the foods that she loved in moderation, and learned and taught herself how to build balanced meals that actually worked for her. When I asked her to imagine that she already reached all her fitness goals and how it would change the way she shows up in her life, what she said stopped me like dead in my tracks. And I've been coaching for over 10 years now, and I still hear this all the freaking time. And maybe as I read this to you, like you'll recognize yourself in it too. Here's what she said. She said, being able to reach my fitness goals would mean I can finally be happy with myself and my body. I know this would positively impact my self-confidence and will allow me to stop worrying about how I look and actually focus on what's important, such as my marriage and being present in the moment. I have done a lot of self-reflection over the last year, and I understand that I am my own worst enemy when it comes to criticizing my own appearance. I would love to look in the mirror for once in my life and think that I look good. Bro, just that hits. I hear that so many times and it makes me emotional because even I have gone through that myself. And it took a lot of work, took a lot of time, took a lot of energy, and took a lot of sacrifice, but it is worth working towards that. I'll tell you that much. If you resonate with that, then just keep listening, okay? Because there is hope for you. There has to be. Ain't no way. I can't accept none of it. So now here's the part that most women get wrong. And I want you to pay very close attention because I don't want you to make the same mistakes. Most women think that they just need more discipline, but what you most likely need is structure. And that's what my client Cailla needed. She needed structure. And once we built that, everything changed. Because guess what? Life didn't slow down for her to get fit, to get healthy. Like she went from actually working from home to having to commute to showing up to the office. And on top of that, she was putting out work fires at 11 a.m., which caused her to skip breakfast and ending the day feeling super ravenous. She also had like trips lined out coming up that was low-key stressing the hell out of her because those usually always knocked her off track. Here's what we didn't do: a crash diet. Instead, we collaborated on a plan built specifically for her and her lifestyle. We had a backup plan and then a backup plan for the backup plan. And I made sure that the plan adjusted with her through the travels, the schedule changes, like the busy seasons, and even like sick days. Because guess what? It's going to happen. We all know that. And that is what I call the weekly gem plan strategy. It's my little wordplay on the game plan, okay? Weekly game plan, but gem plan because every one of my client is a gem. Nonetheless, it's the backbone of everything I do with my clients because motivation and willpower will fail when life gets chaotic. Systems don't. We built out her week so she wasn't constantly reacting or on survival mode. She was doing the things that she needs to get done for the transformation that she wants. We focused on what actually made the biggest difference. So think that it's all about the workout. But for Cailla, we prioritized her nutrition, her sleep, her stress levels, all of that first. We found her sweet spot with her nutrition and her foods too, where she's able to still eat and enjoy her bread and her meals and keep her energy up without falling back into the disordered eating patterns that she dealt with before. And that was really, really freaking important. Because of her pre-diabetic and PCOS diagnosis, we had to be very, very smart and strategic about her carb intake. Not only that, just her overall nutrition and how she fuels her body. Let me just pause here for a second because this is super freaking important, okay? Especially if you're someone with PCOS or insulin resistance, listen to this. The problem is not carbs. The problem is those blood sugar spikes and crashes that keeps you in a cycle of craving a bunch of stuff, being ravenous, and then fatigue, and then asking like, why am I hungry again? Like 2 seconds later after you just ate. So instead of cutting carbs, we paired them with like protein and fiber and veggies and focus on slow digesting carbs most of the time and strategically front loaded those high carbs for days when we have like movement or the workout and made sure she wasn't skipping any of the meals and then, overeating at night. That alone stabilized her energy. And when your energy is stable, your decisions gets better. And when your decisions gets better, your results will compound. This isn't just about eating less. I've said that over and over again. You've heard me say this so many times on the podcast, but it's just about eating smarter for your body. You cannot eat like everybody else when everybody else doesn't have the life, the preferences, and the situations and the health metrics and markers that you have. So instead of you wondering like, what the heck, why is this not working? Well, maybe it's just not personalized for you. It's not made and built for you. That's why it's not working. There's nothing wrong with your body. Have you ever considered that? Okay, anyways. But yeah, like needless to say, like we didn't eliminate carbs. We eliminated the freaking chaos. The only foods truly off the table were the ones that she was allergic to or had aversions to. And that's the rule, by the way, that I give to all my clients. And that's exactly why they get life-changing results because it isn't restrictive. It's liberating as fuck. So like I said, life didn't stop for her. Right. And so when she went on a 2-week road trip from like San Francisco to Arizona, she put the nutrition habits that she learned into practice. And not only that, we mapped out a realistic plan for movement and workouts while she's on the road. Those simple shifts took the power away from food and gave it back to her. Because that is what I'm about. I like to empower my clients to make better decisions, not the perfect decisions, but the better decision, the 1% better decisions that aligns with the future version of themselves that they're working towards, who has the goals and transformation that they're looking for. Okay. So for her, she wasn't trying to fit into the box anymore. Like, oh, I can't eat that. And I can't eat this. I can't eat with my family. I can't enjoy what they're enjoying because I'm not allowed to eat that. No. She's allowed to eat anything, just the things that she's allergic to or have an aversion to. If she doesn't want to eat it, she doesn't want to eat it. She doesn't have to. Like, that is it. But I will say that I know I talked about nutrition here. I talked about like, making sure that she's having her protein, her carbs and like fiber and all of this. Like, but One of the biggest shifts that we worked on wasn't just purely that food and nutrition. It was about awareness at every level, at every bucket, like every for fitness, for movement, for nutrition, for mindset. It was building that awareness. And it's a big, big piece of how I do and what I do in my coaching. So whenever she felt that effort energy creeping in, especially on like trips or when she's super exhausted or have busy work days and like, just life is just lifing or she's sick or whatever, instead of spiraling, she practiced what we considered like just a little pause. Okay. Like, I know you're like, what? I don't have a name for it. Just call it breath and pausing and breathing. Okay. Just like before even reacting, before snacking, before stress eating, before emotional eating, like just pause. Just take a deep breath, okay? And I would invite you, if you're in that moment where you have to pause and you're practicing this, right? Just ask yourself, what would a version of me who already feels confident do right now? And that tiny, tiny little pause, that space that you create between impulse and action can make all the difference. And for example, specifically around emotional eating, you get home from work, you've had a stressful day, and you're supposed to get your workout in, but you're like, the pantry's calling your name. And next thing you know, you're in front of the TV and you're snacking, and an hour goes by, you're like, oh crap, I haven't got my workout yet. And then you feel pressed for time and you're eating and you ate the whole bag. You're like, oh crap. Oh my God, I'm not supposed to eat this. And you're riddled with so much guilt. And I feel like for you, when it comes to pausing and before we even get into it, right? If you're able to catch it before it even gets too far, just even asking yourself, what's going on with me right now? What am I feeling? What am I sensing? Why is there a need for me to emotionally eat? What am I trying to numb from? What's causing stress in me? What's causing these uncomfortable feelings inside of me? And sometimes it could just be you're wired that way. If you have a habit of coming home from a long day and pouring yourself a glass of wine and snacking on whatever snacks you got, like girl dinner or whatever, like sometimes it's just habitual and that can be reversed. One of the things that I would say, like, if you want to work on habits or reversing bad habits, I would go to two books. I have the Atomic Habits from James Clear and also the Tiny Habits from BJ Fogg. So any of those will be super supportive because habits are one of those things that's going to be so key when you're on this fitness journey. Okay. So if you're more of a DIY girly or you love personal development and you just want to kind of dive into it, like those books are really, really great for you. Going back to the emotional eating, sometimes you might not catch it at the front end. Sometimes you might not catch it in the middle of it. Sometimes you might catch it only after the fact. And instead of thinking like, oh, I already messed up, yeah, I might as well keep going. Yeah. So it's kind of like what I talked about in a previous episode where it's like, okay, you get a flat tire and instead of like calling AAA, you shank the rest of it because you know what? I got one flat tire, everything's messed up. Might as well just get a flat tire all around. Or like you eat one cookie and you're like, oh my God, I'm being so bad, I messed up, and you eat the entire bag instead. What? But you know what I mean? Like instead of saying I already messed up, I might as well just keep going. I might as well mess up hard and mess up big time. It just becomes like, all right, okay, like, you know what? That wasn't ideal. That wasn't my best choice, but what's my next best move? And that alone can be the game changer. And that was a game changer for her because it was just in those little moments of like, hey, that wasn't what we wanted in the reflection and hindsight. But you know what? Like, what's the next best thing that I can do? What's the next, like, 1% better action is going to look like moving forward? We don't wait until Monday to restart. We don't wait until the next day. We actually do something in the immediate moment because confidence isn't built in your perfect weeks. It's built in those moments. Okay. I think having perfect weeks, perfect months, perfect days doesn't really teach you shit. There's so much to learn in all the non-ideal, less than perfect, chaotic survival mode weeks if you allow yourself to. But you know what the real transformation is? Before coaching, Cailla was purely just reacting to life after she was responding. What I mean by that is like before she felt like food was controlling as hell and restrictive. She was her own biggest enemy. Her body felt like it was working against her and progress was random and she couldn't sustain it. But afterwards, she had a freaking plan. She trusted herself and she stopped quitting when things weren't perfect. She was courageous to have difficult conversations. She was courageous to let people in on her journey. because most of us don't necessarily like to tell people that we're on a health kick for whatever reason. There's no judgment, but to open up about it and be courageous and share it with her loved ones and actually to feel so supported and seen by them. And not to mention, what was so beautiful to witness is that her taking care of herself, her being on this like fitness journey, inspired her own dad to also start taking care of himself. Like that is so beautiful. And that's what I talk about all the time in Gen Fitness is that for me, it's like what keeps me going is knowing that the small things that I do for my clients, the small things that I help them achieve in their life is a ripple effect. It starts with them and it trickles down to like maybe their kids, maybe their family, maybe their friends, like their peers, anyone. And I think that's so beautiful. And if all of us can just look at it that way of like, you know what? Lead yourself first and then you can lead others and like influence and even like make an impact and inspire the people. Like what a beautiful thing. It's such a small thing, but it's such a huge thing. And I just love it. And so being able to witness her be that inspiration for others, I'm loving it. I just love it. And like, you know what? She also just didn't just like change her waistline. She didn't just, drop the weight and got strong. She didn't just like transform and change her body. Like she changed the way she showed up for herself. And the results followed almost freaking immediately, if you can believe it. It's like the best part about it, like the confidence bled into her life, just boom everywhere. Like she used to be, like I said, her own harshest critic. She said it herself. I read it earlier. You heard me. But then she started venturing out. Like those like inches that she lost off her waist, that's just a cherry on top. That ain't the main course, you know what I mean? But she also ran 5Ks with her friends. She's still running to this day. She wore the crop tops and those outfits that she was too scared to wear back in the day. And at the time of this recording, she actually announced that she's pregnant. And she's still maintaining every healthy habit that she's ever built. Because the ones that she worked on, the things that we did together on our coaching journey together, they were not quick fixes. And this is why I will say this to my dying breath. Quick fixes are not meant to be long-term solutions. And if you continue to treat them as such, you will be stuck in the same cycle for years. And it's a vicious one. Sometimes you can't even notice that you're in it. But like, yeah, all of those healthy habits that we spend time working on, mastering, that became her lifestyle now. And like I said, it's so liberating. Like she's someone that feels like she can conquer everything and anything. Imagine working on yourself, working on your confidence, and it opening multiple massive doors for you where you just feel free to do things. And that freedom is often nobody talks about that because they're like, what the fuck is freedom? Like freedom what? Like what are you talking about? Like freedom to just wear whatever you want. Freedom to do whatever you want to do or interested in because you know what? Like, yeah, I'm just that person. I'm going to go do it. I want to do it and nothing's holding me back. It might be scary sometimes, but hey, I'm someone who's been scared before and I know that I'm capable of doing things and I'm going to go do those things. That's beautiful. And if you're listening to this and you're like, man, I want that. You can have that too. Who says you can't? For Cailla though, like for someone who once felt like her body was working against her, for someone with PCOS, that pregnancy announcement wasn't just exciting, it was hella emotional because that meant that her body wasn't broken. It was fully supported, fully nourished, and she's finally working with her body, not against it. And that matters more than any of the number that you're going to see on the scale. She even stopped like agonizing over her weight and started conquering life. She's not just like, like happy with her body, but she's present in her marriage and she's not looking at the mirror to find flaws anymore. She's looking in the mirror and seeing someone who is dedicated to her health and that she's super capable. Like, what? I freaking love it. Like, I'm gonna tell you this straight up. If you're tired of being your own worst enemy, like you're tired of the F it cycle and that mentality, and tired of busting out of your clothes, feeling like a lump of log or doing everything right with nothing to show for it, then this is your sign. You do not need more restriction. You don't need another program that is not built for you, your life, or your goals. You need a strategy that bends and works with your real life, like your busy days, your chaotic days, your survival mode, your travel days, your completely falling apart days, like all of those. Not just when things are perfect and you're fully motivated and you're super disciplined. No, it needs to be built for those moments too. That's just as important. So if you want to stand in a bathing suit and cry happy tears because you finally feel like you finally feel like yourself, Cailla's story is proof that you do not need to be perfect or have it all figured out. You just need to find your hidden gem. And that's exactly what we do in my coaching program. Because I truly feel like every person, every woman already has everything that they need and what it takes to make it happen. It's just about unpacking it. Over the years, we've come to believe certain thoughts, narratives, and stories about ourselves, and that made us feel like we have to settle, that we're not capable of achieving everything that we've ever wanted. And I'm here to tell you that absolutely not. Every single woman that has come through the Gem Fitness program has felt like they just reignited a version of themselves. They unpacked what that is, they uncovered what that is. And that is such an empowering thing. And I freaking love it because that's always going to be within you. If this felt personal, then don't just sit on it. Send me the word ready in my DMs and we'll build your weekly jump on together, because I know that your version of I did that is just waiting around the corner for you. Because that feeling that you want, the transformations that you're looking for, is not just reserved for other women or women like Cailla. It's available to you too. Thank you for tuning in to the Gem Fitness podcast as I share about Cailla's amazing transformation story. And I hope that it inspires you to never give up, no matter how many times you fail, to never, ever, ever give up on yourself. You can make anything happen with the right tools, with the right mindset, with the right support. You can make it happen. Don't ever give up on you. Love you. See you on the next episode. Bye.